Good afternoon. I now call to order the November 4th meeting of Council. Madam Clerk, please ensure that the record reflects that this meeting, that Mayor Haxton is absent with notice. Item B is declaration of interest. Are there any declarations of interest from Council? Seeing none, the land acknowledgement statement. The town of East Gwillimbury recognizes and acknowledges the lands originally used and occupied by the First Peoples of the Williams Treaties, First Nations, and other Indigenous peoples, and on behalf of Council, I thank them for sharing this land. We also acknowledge the Chippewas of Georgina Island First Nation as East Gwillimbury's closest First Nation community and recognize the unique relationship the Chippewas have with the lands and waters of this territory. They are the water protectors and the environmental stewards of these lands, and we join them in these responsibilities. That takes us to item D with deputations. We have Mr. A. Lenkov making a deputation regarding item H.1 Correspondence from the Heritage Advisory Committee dated October 29th regarding the Heritage Advisory Committee minutes from the meeting held on September 18th and the committee discussions regarding 31 Sand Road. Mr. Lenkov, if you'd like to proceed. Just as a reminder, I'm sure the clerk informed you that you got the full 5 minutes at your will.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, Mayor, members of Council. On today's Municipal Council agenda, item H1 refers to the Heritage Advisory Committee minutes from the meeting held on September 18, 2025, and committee discussions regarding 31 Sand Road. On September 18, 2025, Jeff Brown and I presented to the Heritage Advisory Committee regarding the historic significance of the property at 31 Sand Road. We requested that the committee expedite the listing of 31 Sand Road. 2 days earlier, on September 16th, we had also spoken before Council and requested that 31 Sand Road be listed. At that meeting, Council passed a motion to list the property on the Heritage Register, yet this action was never completed. On September 22nd, the developer of 31 Sand Road began demolition, which continued until September 26. A historic structure was destroyed. Subsequently, an article appeared in the East Gwillimbury Express, quoting the councillor who claimed that buildings at 31 Sand Road were demolished because the community wanted them removed. I hold in my hand the first page of a petition signed by over 300 residents of Holland Landing, which reads, "We, the undersigned residents and community members of Holland Landing and the town of East Gwillimbury, strongly object to the demolition of several structures recently carried out by 31 Sand GP Limited at 31 Sand Road. The public did not request or support this demolition. Given that a councillor had gone on record asserting that the community wanted these structures removed, we now request that the town provide the evidence to substantiate this claim. I also hold a copy of an affidavit submitted to the town concerning 31 Sand Road. This affidavit from Jim White, the nephew of Tony Orpel, who owned and farmed the property for decades, reads in part, "Also, there was a very old building inside of the barn on the farm. It was the original barn. Uncle Tony built a skirt around it and then built the new barn around that. The old building inside the barn was probably as old as a log cabin. Whatever that historical structure was, it has now been lost forever. This loss was avoidable. Let us examine how the sequence of events unfolded. Council passed a motion to list the property, yet the listing was never completed. Listing the property would have created an opportunity for further dialogue between the town and the developer, a chance to pause and reconsider demolition before irreversible damage occurred. At the September 16th council meeting, a motion was also passed that council directs staff to ask the applicant to voluntarily withdraw the demolition permit. The question then is why this direction was not acted upon. At the same meeting, a councillor questioned why the developer had not responded to town correspondence regarding this matter. Yet at the October 21st public meeting, the town stated that the developer had been open and forthright in communications with the town. This inconsistency raises serious concerns about the accuracy and transparency of information being presented to both council and the public. On October 10th, the Corporate Services Memorandum stated the town has the authority to add property to the Heritage Registry. This action would have no practical effect. This statement, no practical effect, aligns directly with what was said at the same public meeting when the acting chair stated, the town issued a demolition permit and the developer was within their rights to remove every structure on the property. And no matter what council had done, we would not be able to withdraw the demolition permit. However, that is inaccurate. The town can lawfully ask the province to designate 31 Sand Road under Ontario Heritage Act, Section 34.5. The municipal prescribed events limit that block a new municipal designation under Section 29 do not apply to the minister's separate designation power in 34.5. If the minister issues a notice of intention to designate under Section 34.6, any previously issued demolition permit becomes void that day. The minister can also issue a stop order under Section 35.2 to halt alteration or demolition while the matter is considered. The statement in the Corporate Services Memorandum that the town has the authority to add property to the Heritage Registry, this action would have no practical effect, aligns directly with the acting chair's remark that no matter what council had done, we would not be able to withdraw that demolition permit. Both assertions convey the same underlying message, that the town viewed itself as powerless to act. By framing these positions as equivalent, council effectively adopted and reinforced a narrative in action, treating the legal authority available under the Ontario Heritage Act as inconsequential. In doing so, the town conflated procedural limitation with absolute inability, thereby justifying its failure to pursue other lawful remedies that could have protected the heritage property. Accordingly, I formally request 2 forensic audits. A forensic audit into all financial and administrative dealings between the town of East Gwillimbury and 31 Sand GP Limited Pentacore Development regarding the proposed development of 31 Sand Road, Holland Landing. And secondly, a forensic audit into the financial administrative dealings between the Heritage Advisory Committee and the town of East Gwillimbury for all matters in 2025. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lenkov. Members of committee, we have Councillor Carruthers.
Thank you. For the record, I never said that the buildings were torn down in September because the community wanted them torn down then. I was asked by the reporter why there was a demolition permit issued in 2024. And you notice in the article, she did not put my response in quotes because those were not my words. The truth is that the reporter asked me why there had been a demolition permit issue, and I let her know the rationale that had been shared with me, that for years before the development application, the town was receiving complaints from residents and the school about the safety of those buildings. I just wanted to set the record straight, Mr. Chair.
Any other comments or questions for Mr. Lenkov as he's standing here? Motion to receive? Sorry, mover and a seconder. Yeah, we have Councillor Leahy, Councillor Roy D. Clemente. Thank you both. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries. That now takes us to 2:10, and I know that we had discussed taking a recess as staff have not been able to pause. What is the desire of council for recess from a time perspective? Councillor Leahy.
Through you, Acting Mayor Johns, I believe staff as well as council would benefit from half an hour to eat and to take a quick break to get some fresh air before we undertake the remainder items of the items on the schedule. Thank you.
Could I suggest 2:45? Sure. Do folks want 2:45? Yep. Okay. Then we have the recess. We don't need to vote on that, right, Madam Clerk? We could if we want. Okay, 2:45, moved. Councillor Crone, seconded. Councillor Carruthers. All those in favor? Motion carries. 2:45. Thank you, Madam Clerk. So that takes us to item E on our agenda of this afternoon, and that is presentations, and there are none at this time. So we move forward to item F, which is committee adoption, or committee recommendations, and the first is to adopt the Committee of the Whole Council recommendations from the meeting held on October 21st, 2025. So looking for a mover for that. Councillor Crone, thank you, and seconded by Councillor Carruthers, thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries. Yep.
Mr. Chair, there is one item from this afternoon's Committee of the Whole meeting that requires same-day ratification, so I'll ask my team to put it on the screen before you. It's with respect to appointing a temporary replacement for the mayor during the absences at the regional council meetings.
Thank you. Oh, sorry, it's on the screen now. Thank you. Sorry, I didn't have my screens laid out properly, so I was waiting. So we have that on the screen now. We're looking for a mover on this item.
Happy to move.
Thank you, Councillor Crone.
Mr. Chair,
Seconded, Councillor Carruthers.
if I may add to it, that we go ahead and nominate Councillor Tara Roy DiClemente, as I think she has the most experience and would represent us well at region.
Councillor Leahy.
Thank you very much. Before we vote on this, I would like to add the comment that the number of years on council does not necessarily equate to competency or appropriateness to be appointed to represent council at York Region for the remainder of the term. In fact, an argument could have been made for fresh blood. However, the decision today, I believe, will create further confusion for the public as to who is truly running our municipality. So our priority should always be working together as a team to serve the community. It's not a game of one-upmanship. And in my opinion, this decision and the outcome of the decision will not necessarily lead to the best outcomes for East Gwillimbury.
We have a mover and seconder with the amendment by the mover. Is there any further discussion from folks? So I'll call the vote. All those in favor? All those opposed? So the motion fails. Councillor Leahy didn't vote, Councillor Roy DiClemente didn't vote, and I didn't vote, which means the motion fails.
Mr. Chair, I'm looking at the resolution on the screen here. It doesn't reflect the additional resolution, so I'm not even clear what we're voting on.
And I'd like to call a recorded vote.
Through you, Mr. Chair, just bear with us. So there's been an amendment proposed that would have to, based on what you had instructed previously, that Councillor Roy DiClemente be appointed as a temporary replacement to the mayor to attend the regional meetings. That clause would have to go, is the intent to the last clause of this entire motion? Is that?
That's what Councillor Crone moved.
Thank you for clarifying that. So we will bear with us for a moment as we update this to include that section.
Just procedurally, Madam Clerk, earlier today you referenced a process with nominations. Does that still have to take place?
Through you, Mr. Chair, with respect to individuals that nominate others to carry out specific duties, typically what other members can consider is whether or not you accept the nomination. So perhaps the chair could ask you the question, if you do intend to accept the nomination, then that's the point where you'd want to consider the vote. So a member can nominate another member. The member who's been nominated would have to then say, yes, I agree to the responsibility that is being required of me. So that's something that we can do. We cannot do any closed ballots for the purpose of this type of nomination. So, Mr. Chair, what you see in front of you before you highlighted in blue is the section that was added to include the motion from Councillor Crone.
So we've had a mover and a seconder to this motion. We've had that amendment. Is there further discussion?
Councillor Carruthers had requested for a recorded vote on this one, Mr. Chair, so I can, if there are no further discussions, I can definitely carry
It looks
that
like we
forward.
have two other items up for discussion prior to the recorded vote. So Councillor Roy DeClemente and then Councillor Leahy.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. While I haven't been asked specifically if I will accept the nominations, I will simply say that I have always performed my responsibilities in service to this community with the spirit of rolling up my sleeves and helping where it's needed. And while this is far from a simple task and a tremendous responsibility, I will do my utmost to represent the interests of the town and will serve with deep appreciation for the trust that my colleagues have placed in me. I guess that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Councillor Leahy.
Thank you very much, through you, Acting Mayor Johns. I'd like the amendment that has just been added now to be a separate vote, so that we can vote in principle on the first parts of the resolution, but the actual appointment of an individual councillor, that be a separate vote. Thank you.
Madam Clerk, can you clarify the ability?
Mr. Chair, pursuant to your procedure bylaws, specifically Section 17.4, upon a request of any member, and when the chair is satisfied that the matter under consideration contains distinct proposals, the vote upon each proposal shall be taken separately.
Based on the fact that there was a bit of confusion previously in looking for clarification, I would suggest that they are distinct. So to that end, I will honor the request of Councillor Leahy. So do we need separate movers and seconders for both of those because they will be sitting distinct?
Through you, Mr. Chair, no. What you would have is your mover and the seconder will be maintained. However, the vote will be separated out for the clause that is highlighted in blue. So what you would be considering at this point would only be where it says that this resolution be ratified, so up until that time, and then anything that's in blue, it would be separated out.
And any further, Councillor Carruthers, for further
I had
discussion?
asked for a recorded vote, and since it's being separated, rather than doing two recorded votes, just a recorded vote on the second. Thank you.
Okay, is there any further discussion regarding the two votes that will be taking place regarding this resolution, these two resolutions? Seeing none, I will call the vote on the first resolution, that be it resolved that council adopt a committee of the whole council recommendation from the meeting held on November 4, 2025 as follows. Be it resolved that the presentation made by R. O'Connor, Universe RO Consulting, Inc., entitled Mayors, Acting Mayors, and Deputy Mayors, Roles and Responsibilities be received, and that in accordance with Section 268 of the Municipal Act, Council appoint a temporary replacement for the mayor during the absences of York Region for the balance of 2022 to 2026 term, and that this resolution be ratified at the council meeting to be held on November 4th, 2025. All those in favor? Motion carries. Madam Clerk, I will turn this over to you for your adjudication of this.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So the motion that's highlighted in blue has been moved by Councillor Crone, seconded by Councillor Carruthers. Councillor Carruthers, you have requested for a recorded vote. How do you vote?
Yes.
Councillor Crone, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councillor Foster, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mayor Haxon is absent. Councillor Johns, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councillor Leahy, how do you vote?
No.
Councillor Roy DeClemente, how do you vote?
Awkwardly, yes.
Mr. Chair, that motion's carried.
That takes us to G, adoption of the minutes, making sure I'm at the right spot. Adoption of the minutes. To adopt, number one is to adopt the committee of the whole council minutes for the meeting held on October 21st, 2025. Looking for a mover. Councillor Crone, thank you. Seconder by Councillor Foster. You're waving your pen. Councillor Foster, thank you. Second. Any discussion on this? All those in favor? Motion carries. Two, to adopt the council minutes from the special meeting held October 15th and regular meetings held on October 21st. Moved by, looking for a mover. Councillor Carruthers, thank you. Seconded by Councillor Foster was nodding. You were not there. Counselor Roy D. Clemente, would you like to second that? Thank you. Any discussion on this? All those in favor? Motion all those in favor? Motion carries. Takes us to item H, correspondence, H1, correspondence for consideration. I'll just make a brief statement that I have received my legal direction last week that clarified my abilities to speak in regard to item H1, so I'll continue in this chair. Item H1 is the correspondence from the Heritage Advisory Committee dated October 29th, 2025, regarding the Heritage Advisory Committee meeting minutes from meeting held on September 18th and the committee discussions regarding 31 Sand Road. Looking for a mover on this item. Anybody like to table this discussion? Councillor Carruthers is moving it, looking for a seconder so we can table it. Councillor Crone, thank you. So we have a motion that has been tabled. Is there any discussion on this motion? Councillor Roy D. Clemente.
Rather than just receive this information, I would like to take further action regarding the status of that. And I believe the clerk is in possession of a resolution that I worked on earlier, and I'm just wondering if she can share it, maybe put it on the screen.
Master Chair, just bear with us for a moment.
So, Mr. Chair, in addition to having received the correspondence from our Heritage Advisory Committee, I'm happy to receive that, but I'd also like to present a couple of other clauses. Whereas at its meeting on September 18th, the Heritage Advisory Committee considered potential heritage value and assets at 31 Sand Road and has requested further investigation into the property. And whereas external legal counsel has advised that the requirement for consultation with the Heritage Advisory Committee has been met under the Ontario Heritage Act, and whereas council recognizes the limitations with respect to protecting the cultural heritage value of the property due to the presence of a complete application under the Planning Act, as well as an active demolition permit, and whereas the applicant has voluntarily undertaken to not demolish any remaining structures on the property and has begun further study and assessment of the property, be it therefore resolved that council reaffirms its desire for the property to be placed on the town's heritage register.
If we could just pause for a moment while the clerk is able to put the motion up on the screen so that everybody can see it. Thank you very much. If we could just pause for 1 minute while folks are able to read what was just spoken to.
And I'm happy to add that to the motion that I moved.
So we have it's been moved and seconded. Councillor Carruthers has accepted the amendment on this to have this this added. And is there any further discussion on this before? I think so. In the absence of me reading it again, as Councillor Roy D. Clemente already read it, I won't be reading it again. So. Given space for any further discussion, all those in favor? Motion carries. This takes us to item I, reports. There are none at this time. Item J, resolutions. There are none at this time. K, bylaws. None at this time. L, other business. None at this time. M, confirming bylaw. Be it resolved that the bylaw 2025-059, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the council meeting held on November 4th, 2025, be taken as read, enacted, and signed by the mayor and municipal clerk. Mover for the confirming bylaw. Councillor Carruthers, seconded by Councillor Crone. Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor, motion carries. An adjournment moved by Councillor Carruthers, seconded by Councillor Roy DiClemente. Thank you. Be it resolved that the meeting of council adjourn at 3:06 p.m. All those in favor, motion carries.